the moon and let me play among the stars. Let me know what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, hold my hand. In other words, darling, kiss me. Fill my heart with song and let me sing forevermore. You all I long for, all I worship and adore. In other words, please be true. In other words, I love you.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into The Quarry, another interactive horror game from Supermassive Games, the same studio behind Until Dawn. And let me tell you, this game feels like sitting down with a cheesy 80s horror movie complete with camp counselors, creepy woods, and a whole lot of questionable decision-making. And I mean that in the best way possible. If you love slasher flicks and B-movie camp, this is going to be right up your alley. So the setup is simple. Summer camp is over, the kids are gone, and the counselors are stuck at Hackett's Quarry for one more night. Of course, things immediately start going downhill. Monsters in the woods, shady locals, and family secrets that get uglier the deeper you dig. The real hook here is the choices. Just like Until Dawn, every decision you make can snowball into life or death consequences later on. And some of these choices you make really early, they come back to haunt you in ways you might not expect. There were times where I thought I was making a small, harmless decision, like whether to take a shortcut or not, and hours later I realized, oh, that one little moment completely ruined this character's chances. That's the magic of this style of game. The sense that you're pulling at threads in a giant web, never knowing what's about to snap. Something you'll notice is that the speech options don't always match what your character is about to say. You'll pick something like reassuring, and suddenly your counselor delivers a line dripping with sarcasm or even hostility.
No, but I mean, seriously, come on, she's right. It's just like a stupid summer fling. What else did I think was going to happen?
Let's see. Love, stability, engagement, marriage, house, kid, affair, kid, divorce, loneliness, child support, visitation lawsuit, surprise reconciliation, emptiness, retirement, grandkid, nursing home, and finally, dying in each other's arms and then being buried in each other's arms like those 1,000-year-old skeletons they dug up in Rome or something. That kind in the ballpark? Oh, shit, I'm sorry. That was Ryan and me. Let me see. Here it is. Yours just says Roadhead. Oh, actually, that's just a generic all-men list.
Well, that seems legit.
It breaks immersion and sometimes had me saying, wait a second, that's not what I meant to do. It doesn't ruin the experience, but it does make you hesitate every time you're about to click an option, wondering if the game's about to twist your intent. Which is an issue for a game that is very dialogue-driven. And here's something else that bugged me. You're constantly switching between different characters, picking up clues, evidence, and pieces of the puzzle. But none of them ever sit down and talk about what they've found. You'd think at some point somebody would say, hey, I found these odd renovation plans, what do you guys make of it? But nope. They just keep it to themselves like everyone's playing their own private murder mystery. It makes the group feel way more disconnected than it should, especially considering half the game is supposed to be about surviving together. Visually, when this game looks good, it looks really good. The lighting, the facial capture, the atmosphere, it all feels polished, and the cast is loaded with recognizable actors like David Arquette, Brenda Song, Justice Smith, and Ted Raimi. But man, it is dark, like too dark. There are sections where I literally couldn't tell if I was supposed to be exploring something or if the screen was just black. And while we're on the subject of lighting, the flashlights on their phones are insanely powerful, better than any phone I've ever owned. These things light up the woods like stadium spotlights. Now, when it comes to the clues and evidence, this is one of the parts I really liked. As you piece things together, you start to uncover more about the Hackett family, their past, their secrets, and why they're doing what they're doing. It adds another layer to the story, and even though your counselors never talk about it with each other, it gives you as the player a much clearer picture of what's really going on behind the scenes. By the end of the game, I found myself less scared of the monsters in the woods and more intrigued by how twisted and desperate the Hackett situation really was. That deeper lore makes the world feel less like a throwaway slasher setting and more like an actual place with history. And let's talk about the counselors themselves because they really make or break the experience. Jacob is the stereotypical jock with a soft side. Ryan is the brooding loner who'd rather listen to podcasts than talk to people. And Dylan is the sarcastic smartass who ends up being surprisingly lovable. Caitlin feels like the practical one of the group, the person who's actually trying to hold things together. Nick and Abby are both quieter, more awkward characters, but their dynamic adds a nice bit of sweetness early on before things get messy. Emma is your social media influencer type, confident, sometimes annoying, and for some reason her face animation just bugged me the entire game. And then there's Laura, who's easily the MVP of the whole cast. She's tough, resourceful, and feels like the character most prepared to actually deal with the nightmare they're trapped in. Each counselor fits into a classic horror archetype, but the performances and writing usually give them just enough depth to keep them interesting.
High five. Touch my hand, Ryan.
Fine.
Yes.
Yes.
I just want to go on record and say that this is a bad idea.
God, dude.
Now, let's talk pacing. Some chapters are tight, suspenseful, and keep you glued to the screen. They build tension, they move the story forward, and they throw in enough choices to make you feel like you're steering the ship. Other chapters? They drag. Long stretches of dialogue or wandering around in pitch darkness with nothing happening can kill the momentum. It's uneven, and you really feel it in the middle of the game where things should be ramping up.
We'll come meet you.
Copy that.
Do you think that whatever attacked them out there is, I don't know, has their scent or something?
What?
I don't know, like what if it got a taste for blood and now it's gonna track them down?
I doubt it.
I just feel like if we stick with them, we're sitting ducks. I don't know.
I really don't think that whatever attacked them out in the woods is gonna get into the lodge.
And of course, I can't talk about the Quarry without mentioning the real star of the game. It's goofy, it's catchy, and it's burned into my brain forever. Peak camp energy right there. If you've played the game, you already know exactly what I'm talking about.
Pop, pop, peanut butter pops. Pop, pop, pop them in your mouth. Pop.
Oh my God, they're like the greatest snack of all time.
Now, all of this builds to the ending, and here's where things stumble. Without spoiling anything, I'll just say the ending felt like a bit of a letdown. After all the build-up, the branching choices, the tension, the deaths, and the drama, the conclusion didn't land with the punch I was hoping for. It wasn't terrible, but it felt rushed and underwhelming, like the writers ran out of steam just before the credits rolled. It's especially noticeable because so much of the rest of the game feels deliberate and suspenseful. So, to end on a weaker note leaves a sour taste. Overall, The Quarry is exactly what you'd expect. An interactive horror movie where your choices matter. People scream a lot, and almost everyone has the chance to die. It's campy, it's fun, and while it's not perfect, it nails that late-night horror movie vibe. If you're a fan of Until Dawn, or you just want a game to play with friends and laugh, scream, and argue about choices, this is absolutely worth checking out. It's not a traditional video game with deep mechanics or challenging combat, but as an interactive story, it succeeds. For me, The Quarry is a solid game. Great atmosphere, a cast of characters you'll love, hate, or love to hate, plenty of suspense, and some truly unforgettable moments. Even if the ending stumbles, the game sometimes makes you squint at a pitch-black screen, and no one apparently knows how to share clues with each other. So, what did you think of The Quarry? Did you manage to keep everyone alive, or did your counselors drop like flies? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the review. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.
Of only the finest that Hackett's Quarry has to offer.
No freaking way.
Yes, frickin' way.
Pop, pop, peanut butter, butter pops. Pop, pop, pop 'em in your mouth. Pop.